Welcome to another episode of TravelPreneur, where we explore the cutting edge of the travel business. I'm your host, Megan McSwain. Today, we're diving into the world of travel tech with a special guest, Ameer Jumabhoy, co-founder and VP of Consumer Technology at U2. Ameer brings a wealth of experience in disrupting the tax-free shopping and global rewards industry, aiming to enhance the retail journey for international shoppers. Join us as we uncover the innovative work U2 is doing to transform tax-free shopping into a rewarding experience for travelers worldwide. Ameer, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here, and I'm really excited.
Great. So, Ameer, U2 is known for its unique approach to tax-free shopping. Can you explain how its primary product differs from traditional models and its benefits for tourists?
Sure. So, in the traditional VAT refunding, and VAT stands for value added tax, and it's sort of like a sales tax in the US, but they call it value added tax in Europe. And the premise is essentially tourists are able to reclaim that tax back on their shopping purchases when they depart from the European Union. And you do this by going through a process at the airport where customs will inspect the goods you are taking out of the EU. And then you basically go to a VAT refund operator's desk and they will process the refund to a refund method of your choice. It can be in cash, or it could be, say, to one of your credit cards from back home. Traditionally, what has happened in the tax-free industry is the cost of processing these VAT refunds has gone quite high in the last few years. And so tourists, while they do get back money, it's perhaps not as much as one might expect. What we took a very novel view on this industry to say, if you think about it, a VAT refund is an incentive provided by governments to promote tourist shopping in the country. And if you think of another word for incentive, it's reward. So we've actually conceptualized the VAT refund as a country reward. And what we're really doing is we said there's two ways of approaching this industry. One is through revolution, and revolution sometimes doesn't help to win you friends. Or the
Right.
second way is to go through evolution. And so what we do today is we give more back to shoppers who are doing the tax-free refund, but we give it to them in the form of value. And this value could either be in the form of airline miles, and we're connected to about 12 airlines, or it could be in the form of value to continue shopping at the retailer again. So say, for example, you buy an item and there's 100 euros of VAT paid. Typically, a tourist could expect to get back about 60 to 65 euros.
Wow.
And in one example, with one of our brands, for example, Coccinelli that we work with in Milan, we are actually giving 120 euros of value if
Oh,
the
wow.
tourist buys another item in store.
Like similar to how credit card rewards work.
It's not a points-based system. It's really value that we provide instantly. So instead of
Okay.
getting 65 euros in cash, we're giving you 120 euros of value immediately to buy
Okay.
that second item. So don't just buy the
Okay.
handbag. Why not buy the wallet that goes with the handbag? And what that does
Interesting.
is it helps retailers to sell more. It helps VAT refund money that was leaving the country to be recycled within in the local retail ecosystem. And even for
Sure.
VAT refund operators, they process more refunds because the one thing I would say about our process is we are not a VAT refund operator ourselves. So you'd still need to go through the traditional system. But what we do is really provide this delightful, value driven in store experience to continue shopping in a way that works for you.
Can you share an insight into the challenges you two faced while creating a digital solution in an industry accustomed to more traditional methods?
It's a really interesting industry because it's dominated by very few players. And I have the unique benefit of my father being my co founder. He brings about 30 years of a wealth of experience in the tax free shopping industry. And so, what we really are doing is taking his knowledge base and putting it together with modern technology tools. We were born in the mobile era. So, everything we've started thinking about has always been from a mobile first perspective. And because we sort of sit as a layer above the traditional tax free industry, with these new services sitting above the actual refund, we actually start from a totally different vantage point in that we can start from being digital rather than actually needing to go back into the old technology of yesteryear.
Right. And leading, I mean, since you're talking about technology, leading U2's consumer technology revamp must involve constant innovation. How do you keep pace with evolving UI, UX demands to meet user expectations?
I think one of the biggest things, Mega, to be honest, is to get as much user feedback as possible, right? And you're never going to
Yeah.
get an app working 100% on day one. But I think it's about being open enough to have that listening ear listen to what your customers are telling you and tweaking at a pretty rapid pace. That's what we try to do our utmost.
And do you get a lot of feedback? I mean, are there ways that you guys request feedback, or is there a certain way that you're able to get actually a lot of that from consumers?
Indeed. So, I mean, we use the traditional methods of understanding sort of what drop off points and where drop off points in the app
Okay.
could be. We tweak for that and we get a lot of data from our users from that perspective. I also have a lot of friends who, might have gone use the app on their travels to get more from their tax free shopping experience. And they come back and say, hey, look, like, I think this should work in a slightly different way, or this was not
Okay.
built perhaps in a way that's intuitive. Maybe you could think about that. And that's also great feedback because it's anecdotal from somebody who actually wants the best of you and from you.
Right.
So
Right.
that's super helpful as
Yeah.
well.
That's good to have friends that'll be honest with you, and they're the best
Exactly.
critics, right? That's
Mhm.
great. This episode is brought to you by TravelPayments.com. Travel businesses have unique needs when it comes to credit card processing. From large average ticket sizes and tolerance for higher chargeback ratios to simple integrations with the most popular shopping cart systems, the travel industry specialists at TravelPayments.com have you covered. Unfortunately, many of the most popular credit card processors initially accept travel businesses, but without warning, freeze their merchant accounts and the thousands of dollars in them because these service providers don't understand or support the unique needs of travel industry business. Don't get stuck with one of the big guys who will freeze you out without a moment's notice. Instead, work with the travel industry specialists who will support your business every step of the way. Visit travelpayments.com to get a free quote today. Given the global scope of tax-free shopping with operations in countries like Italy, Singapore, how does U2 navigate the complexities of various tax refund systems to benefit the shopper? I mean, I imagine that would be complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated. I mean, there are many countries where the system is run by government. Some are run by tendered companies. Some are run by the
Right.
private sector. I think this is where having a background and knowledge and history of about 30 years from my dad really comes into play. Because whenever we approach a new country, okay, and granted his data might be a few years outdated since he's left the industry, it gives us a good flavor of how to best approach the market, who are the right stakeholders, and approaching them in a respectful way to say, look, what we're really looking to do is not to change any systems that you have existing. It's really to say, how do we harness this refund value, right, that is leaving your country to be brought back
Right.
and to really add benefit to the economy?
And that's always a good selling point.
Yeah, it's good because you're not eating anybody's cake. And as I
Right.
said, it's about taking the pie, which could be this small, and it's about making it bigger for everybody. So nobody's worse off. And I think that that's always a good starting point for any discussion.
Right. Looking forward, what are U2's aspirations in transforming the travel and retail landscape even further?
This is a very niche industry. Tax-free shopping is something that has
Right.
traditionally been quite opaque, and with that opaqueness, I think it's about coming to customers and being able to create personalized experiences. So we are
Okay.
looking at things like artificial intelligence. I know it's something that's being bandied around a lot. I
Yeah.
think generative AI is not something that would work for our company, but we're trying to get a sense of like, how do we promote rewards that work for the customer? So if I know, for
Sure.
example, you've been going to Cochinelle and you bought a handbag and you bought a wallet, and that could be a trend on your shopping trip, perhaps I can start to use artificial intelligence to create a more personalized rewards offering for you. So that's kind of interesting. I think it's really about serving the individual customer and being able to create solutions that people feel were tailor made just for them.
Right. Yeah, people love that. And that's becoming the future, I feel like, where it's really honed in, really focused to cater to each person.
Exactly. And I think, for the first time ever, we have the technology tools to be able to deliver that.
Exactly.
So I'm
Right.
really excited to see how, these kinds of things like AI are going to come into our daily lives in all sorts of different ways. But it's really a question of saying, like, is this something that feels personal to me? I don't
Sure.
think we're
Yeah.
quite there yet, but we take the baby steps.
Having co-founded U2 and previously engaging in entrepreneurial ventures like Univisor, what advice would you give to individuals looking to start their own tech-driven business in the travel industry?
Wow. I would say don't launch your first product 5 weeks before a global pandemic. Always not a
Yeah.
good thing. On a more serious note, I think it's really to say, look, be daring, be bold, and realize that there's a very big world out there that's exciting to explore. And something that really gets me out of bed in the morning is, I might wake up in a totally different city with a totally different culture. And it's so thrilling and inspiring to see the kinds of products that we're building be able to scale across so many different types of countries. I think only the travel tech industry affords you that. Another thing about travel tech is while I think technology definitely permeates a lot of our life, travel specifically is something that still has a unique in-person experience, right? Like you can simulate the Duomo in Milan through virtual reality, but nothing beats actually getting your bum on a plane, flying there, seeing the wonder of it in person. And I think it's really a question about saying, how do you responsibly juggle the emergence of technology and how it complements the travel experience without taking away those special moments when you're actually in that country seeing something incredible?
And as someone, we talked about AI and technology and how it's just constantly changing. But as someone deeply involved in business development and strategy, how do you see the role of technology evolving and what should upcoming, or I guess not upcoming entrepreneurs, but even people right now who have businesses, what do you think they should focus on to stay ahead?
I think for me, I've always believed in being a lifelong learner. I think what's really, really important to stay ahead of the curve is to read extremely widely, understand the trends that are emerging and how they're being used in different contexts, because that also helps to inform you on how that specific technology could be useful in your context. And sometimes it may not be useful. So it's about being able to come from a knowledge base where you can make those informed decisions and then build products that can actually make significant impact thereafter.
Right. It's like AI is the hot button right now, and you may not need it in your business, but you think you do because everyone else is talking about it, that kind of situation.
Exactly. I mean, I think there are elements, for example, of AI that are very useful for the tax-free shopping industry specifically. For example, we're going to be releasing a very interesting AI tool that helps tourists get more from their refunds simply by taking a photo and getting more of
Wow.
a reward simply by taking a photo. So I'm not going to go into the
Wow.
details of it just yet because we haven't publicly launched it. But we're just trying to say, how do we help to introduce these technologies and reduce customer drop off points, reduce friction, and enable a more delightful journey? Because at the end of the day, you're shopping, you're in a new country, right?
Right.
You want to be seeing stuff, you don't want to be bogged down by process. So, how do we use these tools to reduce the process flow?
Well, that's amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's a huge success and exciting to see where it takes you all in the future.
Thank you.
I appreciate you sharing your journey with you two and the innovative strides you've made in the travel industry. Your insights are invaluable to us and to our listeners. Let our listeners know where they can learn more about you two, where they can connect with you.
I'm mainly on LinkedIn, so you can follow me on LinkedIn and would love to connect. I love to meet people from all over the world. You can learn about the company at www.u2.global. And the best way to learn more about us is if you are traveling to a country and you're planning to shop and they have a VAT refund system, download the app, give us a try. Let us try and give you a more valuable tax free shopping experience.
Perfect. Awesome. To our listeners, you heard it. Give them a try. I think it sounds amazing and it sounds like there's a lot of benefit to this business. Amir, thank you for joining us. To our listeners, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our episodes and stay tuned for future travel inspired conversations. Thank you, Amir. Take care.
Thank you.